and Pogo is way too excited about. So of course, Pogo being Pogo, thinks that little woman is still in bed with him. Only for those two to wake up next to each other and stare and do the scary jump thing. Very unhappy Pogo. So, apparently she retreated back to her haystack. Yep, she was asleep under the hay. Pogo still in love. However, she smacks us for uncovering her and puts the hay back on. And of course now we're getting yelled at for stealing all the meaty bones in the storage room. Which she did. And she's still hungry. So, yeah, she's so hungry you can hear her stomach. And I guess the way to a cave woman's heart is through her stomach. You gonna get up there? No. You're just gonna be... Fair enough! So, since we grabbed the meaty bone from the storage room, even though we denied it, we can hand her the meaty bone. And indeed we will, but we can also hand her other things. Because she pops up, and we can hand her the meaty bone. And she walks out, gives us a couple of kisses on the cheek, and Pogo goes in love again. However, we can still hand her things, and I will warn you, if you hand her something here, it's gone. She just kind of apparently consumes it. If we give her something to wear, like the wild dress, like, you know, the second wild dress we made. 3, 2, 1, up! She, pops up nude. And causes Pogo to go nosebleed and pass out. That is a thing. It just happened. So now that we've done that... No, still... So we try to leave, wake this dude up, so we can get back to wherever he was going. And Belle will be nice and content, hiding in hay in our room, until we can figure out a way to explain that to the elder. And if we need to, we can once again do the trick to gain, you know, as many crafting items as we need. Although we have pretty much crafted everything I'm going to need for a while. And then here, these three, the three stooges here. And they smack him down. Because of course they do. And all these guys are the exact same. The guy following us and will still fart in our face. Because of course he will. Let's see. Yeah, the storeroom kind of got picked over last night by Belle. And of course now we're getting yelled at again. Nothing interesting in the hay. So, with the recent depletion of the meaty bones, I think the Elder's going to tell us we need to go hunt again. Yeah, he's basically going to say, hey, could you go hunting again? We're kind of out of food. Essentially. So, nobody's blocking this passage. And we could indeed go hunting if we needed to. If we felt the urge to go level up some more and get some more items and such, we could indeed do that. We're not gonna. Instead, let's move the plot forward because I've already ground enough. And, we're totally gonna get run over by all the Flintstones cars there. And the one guy running on his own. Kind of impressive that he kept up that well. Hey. Buddy. You gonna help? No? Okay. So, these guys have just come in here and wiped the floor with our entire tribe. And you can probably guess what they're wanting. And now they're wiping the floor with our elder. Who want to demand to know what they're doing here. And of course, they're looking for the woman. And the elder's like, what the hell are you talking about? We don't have any women here. And of course, they found the woman in Pogo's room. And the elder is legitimately surprised at this. Now, if we wanted to, we could totally ignore that scene in there because it will not advance until we go back in the room. And we could go level up if we didn't feel we were ready. The game is nice, at least, to give you that much chance. Instead, we are going to continue on. We are kind of looking at them celebrating their victory, and they apparently don't see us. And the only thing we can do here is approach the cars and poke at it to where Pogo pushes us in. We start it up through, I'm guessing, foot power. I can see your feet sticking out. We run over everyone. Act as a landing pad for the girl, who's happy to see us because we're not them. We untie her ropes. Get a kiss for our trouble. He strikes a pose. And a flamboyant hair dude. Going to command his friends, his subordinates, to attack us. You may be wondering why the dude in front seems to have a tail. We'll find out shortly. Okay, so now, let's see, you... Let's move you here. And let's see, I could do that or that. See if I can make everyone fall asleep. Yeah, it worked on everybody. So they won't be just immediately smacking us. Level 1, Belle is kind of stuck at level 1, so she's just going to be running. She doesn't really have any, doesn't have much in the way of actual attacks. just do the monkey thing here. I'm only really being cautious because I don't want Belle to die yet. I would rather her be able to stay up and get some experience because we're going to need to level her up too. I think. Okay, those should all be close to death now. Wait a minute. And let's just smack you for good measure. They all just kind of leave after getting the crap kicked out of them. Which should tell the Elder something about how Pogo is probably the one person he doesn't want to be pushing around here. Okay, so now his name is Zaki. What I need to do is get him up there in range. And try to keep hitting him with push for the moment. Oh wait, that's right. Pizza now. That, you see that isn't a fig leaf? Zaki legitimately just has a lizard that kind of clings to his groin and curls under and gives him a tail. Just pointing that out. Okay, so let's see. And, yeah, you can see the lizard's tail sticking out when he turns the sprite around. But let's just go ahead and bonk Zaki on the head with the club. And one thing you'll notice is that sprites with a decent amount of hit points actually have different animations depending on how damaged they are. You notice he's kind of down to one knee right now. There's not much you can do. And you notice that he's starting to get a little bit worse for wear. And he's down. The poor lizard's like, well, where do I go now? And Zaki does the equivalent of, I will get you next time, gadget, next time. And of course, his premonition is right that the Elder does not want this woman here. We will make the implore and get just smacked by the Elder for daring to do this. And of course, the vision that Pogo had is 100% on the mark. And they just kind of expel us into the wilderness. With one person giving us one last look backward, we are now expelled from our village. And remember what I said about the encounters being invisible sprites that move? Yeah, it came next to us, so yeah. I need to create a clearer path for her to run. Oh no. Okay, good. We need to get Belle here up to level 7. So this is going to take a bit. And there are going to be fights that we don't want to actually fight. Although we probably will, just because I should be able to handle them. They're going to be a little bit, hairy, for lack of a better word. Yeah, this is not an original plot. And Gory's level 7. Belle is now up to level 2. So she gets some extra hit points, so she won't die quite as quickly. But we do need to get into fights. There's one specific fight we do not want to get into. This isn't it. Oh, goody. So since he has gained this, kind of need to show it off. Because it is kind of the best attack we're actually going to get for a while. Based on the fact that it has such a wide range and hits everyone in its range. It just takes him a second to warm up. We just have to get him time. Belle's up to level 3. Gained Wave, which is now going to make things much easier. Again, this isn't the fight that scares me. So, she basically is a cheerleader now, which not only gives us a hit point restore, but it does kind of sometimes, every now and then, gives a stat boost, which is nice. And it's an area of effect heal. Still want to show this off, if we can get it to trigger. Because it does take a second for the burp to register. Go. He does a headstand and unleashes a massive fart that damages all the enemies pretty much in the entire screen if you position it right. However, this bison really doesn't like her. And his little fart attack is going to get a lot of use. Pogo's level 7 has gained the skill Gotcha. Okay, now it's starting to get dark, which is kind of what we want. Oh, mini mammoths. But we want Belle to get to level 7. Because she will gain a good skill at that point. I mean, luckily we haven't run into the fight that would absolutely murder you the first time you get out there. Or actually would absolutely murder Belle until she got to level 3. But now we are, okay, level 4, we get another meaty bone, and we made more meaty bones. Because meaty bones are a good heal. Okay, wild boars. Wild boars are nice. Just going to pass. Which isn't exactly defense, but you know. Ah, these things. Saber-toothed tigers. We will see it at some point, but there are a couple of encounters out here. And remember, the encounters aren't random. They're kind of randomly seeded around the field a little bit, but you get pretty much the same encounters every time you enter an area. So every time we go in and we respawn this field, we will find this encounter and the ones we just beat. There is one encounter I'm on the lookout for that I need to not be careful to not trigger it. This isn't it. No, giant mammoths are really good because they give you something called a giant meaty bone. Not every time you beat them, but it happens often enough it should count. And the giant meaty bone is a area heal. It's an item. You use it like any other consumable, but it heals everyone with like the little 3x3 square. Close enough. Unfortunately for our level, mammoths are kind of tough. Not the strongest thing known to man, but they are a little bit scary. Since Wave does the power boost there, it's worth using even if, you know, you have a full hit points. And unfortunately, the mammoths do have damage reduction, so it takes them a little bit longer to beat on them. Bell level 5, 2 levels to go. And now we have the MOAs. And honestly, making all the weapons we did, we gained the skill Rub Sticks, that I find very little use for, because it has too long of a charge up time to be useful. We got a little darker. This was the fight I was worried about right at the beginning. 6 saber-tooth tigers. So, haven't even showed off Boom Boom yet. Nope, 2 is the max I can hit. You're gonna come over here. You're going to boost power. Okay, so this burp hits all but the outer edge, and anything that's large enough to spill over into the middle gets hit by it. It just takes a little bit to charge up. But it does a knockback and drains their power a little bit. It is not the strongest attack in the world, but considering it spans the entire battlefield, now Belle's level 6. This will not level us up. Well, it might. I didn't check to see how much experience everyone had. Sadly, it doesn't really tell you how much experience you're getting. gonna just smack him. Fortunately, these saber-toothed tigers can seem to get off a lot of attacks fairly close together. At times. I would like to elaborate on some things, but we're not quite ready for that yet. Okay, I believe I've almost got this area cleared out. Which, if I do... Okay. There is a secret. There are two secrets in this area. One of which I can show off as soon as I've got most of the enemies cleared out here. And the other one, I'm gonna have to do some work to be ready for. I still have no idea what that's actually supposed to do. Or what that's supposed to be. I know what it's supposed to do, I just have no way to describe what it actually looks like it's doing there. Some sort of complicated dance, I guess. And just kind of hopping around and spinning. I guess it makes us dizzy or something? I don't know. And good, she is level 7 and gained the skill of La La. That is what we wanted. And now it is fully nighttime. There's a reason we wanted Lala. Because, first of all, it has a very large radius that can hit pretty much the same radius that that perp can. And, it takes a second to charge. Of course, they just basically went no and smacked her down. Well, we don't have too many ways to repair someone else's hit points. Let's see. That's kind of sad because they kind of back attacked her and did crit, which I am sad about now. See if we can get off of rub sticks, though. So rub sticks creates a little fire field and spouts a little fire in the sky, as you would get from rubbing sticks together. That bell pops up right at the end of it. To be expected. Oh, is that the last enemy? Oh, okay. Where are ya? I want to show this thing off. Oh, looks like we'll get a chance to show this off. Okay, good. So, let's show off Boom Boom here. Notice that it has no tiles next to him which he can use. That's because he's going to jump in the air and do a thing. Like that. But you can't do that to something right next to you, and unfortunately it does kind of lower his speed a little bit. So let's try to activate Lala again. Don't think we're... Okay, here we go. Lala just one-shot the mammoth. It just did 999 damage to the mammoth. It won't do that to everything, but it will dang sure do it to that mammoth. So Lala is literally a glass cannon at this point. Or Lala Bell is literally a glass cannon. She cannot take it. She cannot take severe amounts of damage. But if you get Lala off, you're pretty much hurting everything. Later enemies will, of course, not take the full 999. And if you were still worried about crafting and the like, you could craft here. And if there were a way to make more giant meaty bones, we would totally do it. But as far as I know, there aren't. There's no way to pump up a meaty bone and turn it into a giant one. It would be nice. Nope, he won't. Yeah, see, you could try to combine two meaty bones there. No. That is not a thing that can happen. I believe this enemy is completely devoid of life. For the time being, we can come back and we can refill it if we need to, but we do not need to now. Which I believe the fact that there are no more enemies to bump into and out here at the moment will allow us to do a thing and reveal a secret, which is also an Easter egg. We have rock with a face on it. Is it a rock? Is it a face? It's a rock with a face on it. So anyway, I need to count to 100 now, and I don't want to mess this up. I'm going to go quiet for a second, but I've got to tap A 100 times looking at this, because I believe we can do it now. Okay, we cannot do it now. We will have to come back later and do it. Because if it had worked, you would have heard the sound of the door opening somewhere. But now that we have ground up, and we did have to wait for it to become nighttime out anyway, so we were going to have to grind a few battles regardless. We walk in here, we find Zaki and company, who we just, you know, completely and soundly thrashed. As they leave their cave, we manage to pop in. You go, oh look, shelter. Not realizing that this is Zaki's cave. Which he's going to poke at that, and it sounds hollow. But that's all we can poke at it for. So we go ahead and examine the fire pit. He lights a fire. And he knocks Gory out of the way to go sit at the other side of the fire. Presumably so he can be facing the door. The door he knows about anyway. And everybody's stomachs are rumbling. And of course, he farts. And it's headed towards the fire. Which, does that. The fire relights. Pogo shakes it off. Bell shakes it off. Pogo checks on Bell, and then goes to chase Gory around for doing that. Pogo apologizes. Bell says it's fine. And they laugh about it. Meanwhile, Gory just kind of laying down, passed out, and blackened.